Hi guys, this is Baohun. Today we are creating a short video for you, especially those who have just started Cisco routing and switching and you still don't know some of the basic commands that you need in your first semester. This video is specifically made for people like that, so let us get started. At first we open Cisco Packet Tracer, which I'm sure most of you will be able to use now. Okay, here it is. Now you have the item bars. Here you have the routers, Cisco routers. Here you have the switches, different type of switches, hubs, wireless devices, and the cables, different type of connection cables that you use between devices. And here is a list of the end devices. See, you can see that this is a desktop, this is a laptop, this is a server, printer, and so on. So we want to create a small network, just one domain, that will enable us to have an insight of how basic most configurations are done in our CCNA routing and switching semester 1. So at first let us choose a router. Let us take the 2911 series, and a switch, a Cisco switch 2960 series, and two desktops, desktop 0 and desktop 1. Yeah, you can have as much PCs as you can, because the switch has 24 fast Ethernet ports and 2 gigabit ports. So all these fast Ethernet ports, you can use them to connect different PCs. Okay, but for the time being we are just using two. Just a brief introduction. So let us go to our cabling, which is under connections. We use straight through cables to connect between PCs and switches. Just take another cable, fast Ethernet 0 to fast Ethernet 0/2. Now let us use the same type of cable from the router, which has 3 gigabit ports, gigabit Ethernet ports. I will use gigabit Ethernet 0/0 to fast Ethernet 0/3 of the switch. Yeah. Now what's next? As you can see, it will take some time for this amber to turn to green, because the switch normally goes under a process called the spanning tree, which tries to establish link between all the connected ports to end devices. See, this is the router. These two dots are still red. It will only change to green after we have configured this router with this simple domain. And how are we going to do that? We will assign an IP address to this port, which is gigabit 0/0. So that IP will be the gateway of this network. This single router can have up to 3 different networks, because I think it has 3 ports. Yeah, gigabit 0/0, gigabit 0/1, and gigabit 0/2. It has 3 Ethernet ports, so each port can sustain its own network. So we'll just create one small network. Now let us give IP to our desktops at first. Okay, we'll give this one a 111.1.1.1/24, which is the subnet max. Sorry, /24. That's 24. And let us give this one 111.1.1.2/24 subnet max. Yeah. Now let us give the IPs to the P. This is just renaming the PCs, and I just want you to mix the IP addresses up. That is why I am writing it down for you. But writing it here does not mean that you have given the IP address to the PC. You see, after standing on the PC, it will bring for you this table which will show you if an IP address has been assigned to this particular PC or not. And standing on it, you will notice that there is no IP address assigned to it. So let us assign an IP to it. Click on the PC, go to desktop, IP configuration, give it the IP 111.1.1.1, go to the subnet max. 255/24 is 255.255.255.0. Okay, close. We should give it a default gateway, but that won't be now. That is after we assign the default gateway to this interface, then we can write it here. If you want, you can still write it here, but we have not yet decided what will be the default gateway of this place, of this particular port. So let us assign an IP to the next PC. Desktop, IP configuration, IP address 111.1.1.2, and the subnet max will be 255.255.255.0. /24 subnet max. Divide subnet max entered. Sorry, 255.255.255.0. Yeah. Now we are done with the PCs for now. Now let us go. The switch, as for now, you can leave it as it is. In this circumstance, it can be used as a plug and play switch. That is, no configuration is needed. If you just want to set up a basic network without no VLANs or any other switching protocols, you can just leave it like that. You just need to configure this port to make sure that these PCs can ping this port, which is gigabit 0/0. Now let us assign an IP to that gigabit 0/0. Yep, CLI. You see, in most cases, when these Cisco routers or switches completed booting, they will at most times ask you whether you want to continue with configuration dialog. You should never say yes to this, although when the demand arises. But in most cases, as a network administrator, you don't want to establish a dialogue with the particular networking device, be it a switch or router. They all bring this request. All you have to say is to refuse this dialogue and say, no, I am not going to establish a dialogue, or I'm not going to have a dialogue with this networking device. I want to command it. That is why this is called CLI, command line interface. So you should type no and hit enter. It will also tell you to press return to get started. This return is simply known as enter. Click enter again. Now you are in the user exec mode, which I'm sure most of you know. In this user exec mode, we have less privileges as far as configuration or commands are concerned. So let us go to the privilege exec mode. We go to the privilege exec mode by typing enable, enter. Now we are in the privilege exec mode, in which also you have less command privileges when compared to the global configuration mode, which is our target. So let us go to the global configuration mode by typing configure terminal. In short, you can just type config T, which is also right, but I want you to know the full name. Now, in this global configuration mode, it is the sector of the command line interface that has much commands privileges when compared to that of the user exec mode and the privilege mode. Do you understand? So now let us get started. We want to give a default gateway to this network of ours. So how are we going to do that? Remember, this cable from the switch to the router is connected to a port called gigabit 0/0. So it is on that same port that you will assign an IP that will be the default gateway of that entire network. So let us give that interface that IP. How are we going to do that? Let us enter in the interface at first. Interface gigabit 0/0. If you want, you can write the gigabit Ethernet in full, but you can just put it in short as G0/0 and hit enter. Now you have just noticed that from this router bracket open bracket close config, now instead it says router bracket open config dash if. This if, it is showing you that inside the global configuration mode it has entered an interface, which means any command, any valid command you put here will be implemented on this particular interface. Okay, now let us give an IP address 111. What will be our default gateway? Our default gateway PC1 is 111.1.1, 111.1.2. So let us give this 111.1.1.5. Yeah, let us give the gateway .5, 111.1.1.5. Don't forget the subnet marks. Let us say the subnet marks can also be a /24, 255.255.255.0, and hit enter. Now, after hitting enter, yes, an IP has been assigned to this interface, but it will not make a link to still be established. What will make a link to be established after assigning an IP is issuing the command of no shutdown. This means that this interface will not be shut down anymore. It will be up. The state of it will be up. Do you understand? Now no shutdown, you see. Line protocol and interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0 changed state to up. Now let us see. See? It's working now. Soon this one will also turn to green. You see the switch. If you can remember, when we newly connected these two cables, these two ends automatically turned to green, but it took time for these two to change to green. It is the same that is happening in this other end as well. As I told you earlier, it is the spanning tree protocol that was doing its work. We will get to know more about spanning tree when the right time comes. So guys, that is it. Now we are only remaining with one thing, that is putting this default gateway to the PCs. IP default gateway. Default gateway now is 111.1.1.5. See? Close. Come to this other PC. Sorry. IP configuration. What is the gateway? Default gateway 111.1.1.5. Now we are done. Now you can see that these two PCs can ping each other. They can even ping this gateway. And if at all there was another network connected to this router through one of its ports, if some routing protocols are configured, with the help of this gateway, these two PCs will be able to communicate with the other network. Although they are in different networks, they shouldn't communicate, but with the help of the particular routing protocol that will be used and the default gateway, it will allow this domain to be able to communicate with the outside world. Now let us try to see whether our network is up. Let us ping the default gateway itself. Ping 111.1.1.5. 192.168.1.5. You see, we're having a reply from the gateway. See, packet sent 4, received 4, lost 0, 0% loss. So it means our configuration worked right. Now let us ping our neighbor, the next PC, and see 111.1.1.2. See, it's also replying. It means our network is up. Just go to the next PC and ping the default gateway as well. Ping 111.1.1.5. It's working. So guys, this is all for today. I hope you like it and make best use of it. Please don't forget to subscribe. Ciao.